Well, hello. This is the second video of my life journal, and I figured I'd just kind of open it up with, yes, I do know that, the sound quality is not as good as probably the last one, but we'll get into that in a minute. And the second thing you may note is that, while the series was supposed to be monthly, it in fact was not. It is now bi-monthly, probably. And the reasons for that is because, one, I don't know if enough happens per month to really make a video about it. It's kind of, I mean, my life is I feel like rather boring. And the second thing is that I just simply did not have the time at the end of November. That was near the end of the semester, and so there was a lot of things going on, and I might get into some of that in a minute. Talk about how my finals went for there, but yeah, so sorry about that. I try to keep a schedule, and I don't think it's ever worked out on this channel. I think I kept schedule once. So, sorry about that. The next thing is, why is my mic quality so bad? Well, that is because I'm on a cruise. I'm using my laptop for this. You know, I'm using its built-in microphone, so it's not quite as good as the other ones. So, yeah, and why I'm on a cruise? It was my Christmas present. So, we're going to Cozumel, Belize, and Honduras, and that's not really my type of thing. Like we will get into in a minute, I just recently turned 20. And on these cruises, you have it's a carnival cruise. You have stuff for children through age 0 to 17, I think. They have clubs for all those people. And then you have like for the 21-year-olds and up, they have spas and relaxation areas and places where you can drink. And even if I was 21, I'm kind of a teetotal. I don't really drink. Is that that's a teetotal? I don't really drink. Is my point. I never really been appealed to it. I mean, it just doesn't seem. I've seen a lot of people drunk, and it just looks, I don't know, idiotic kind of. Not that drinking can't be fun. I'm imagining, like, I've seen my friends drink. They seem to enjoy it, and they're not idiotic. Like they get alcoholic or anything. So I can see how it could be fun. It's just, it's not my cup of tea. I don't, or I guess cup of wine. So I don't know. It's probably not something I'll ever really enjoy per se. So yeah, I doubt that's something I would really do. And for the 18 and 20-year-olds, they have like occasional mixers. I don't really vibe with the people in the mixers. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, you guys don't know me in real life, but if you did, you'd know I'm not really into sports. I'm not a sports guy. I am like the character of like a nerd. Yeah. If you couldn't imagine from the videos and content that I produce, and probably my voice as well. So yeah, they're not like my type of people to talk to. I didn't really have anything to discuss with them. So I mean, it's interesting, but nothing on this cruise I really want to do. As for like Honduras and Cozumel and Belize and stuff, I don't go to the beaches, but I really do like looking around the town and exploring. I really do like understanding other cultures and stuff. So that'd be interesting. I feel like that might be something I'd like. As for other stuff I got for Christmas, I got a new pair of OnCloud shoes because my old ones had worn out after a year. I wore those things like 24/7, so I'm surprised they actually lasted that long. I also got some new speakers because I don't think I've ever owned speakers before. Despite being like in computer science and having a bunch of computers, I never really owned speakers because I was never concerned with like the audio quality. And now that I'm playing a lot of games on my computers, I kind of do. So that'll be good, I suppose. I also got 2 new games. I got Sonic Frontiers and Kirby's Forgotten Land. Those are on my backlog, which I will also talk about in a minute because my backlog is kind of ridiculous. And speaking of which, if you don't know how the series works, I actually have a list of things that I just go down, and I kind of improv through the things and hitting the main points. But it turns out that the next thing I was going to talk about was how ridiculous my backlog is. So I own a lot of games. Like, I get a lot of them on sale or, like, as bundles and stuff. So I have a lot of games. And my backlog is rather bad. I mean, stuff that I own that I haven't played yet is, like, Yumineko. I just completed Higurashi When They Cry. It's a very good visual novel. So that was really interesting, and I'd really like to start Yumineko before I get spoiled. Saints Row 4, which was recently free on the game store, so I am going to do that. 999, which I got as a Christmas present from one of my friends a couple years back, and I still want to play it. Looks nice. Deus Ex Machina, which was like a game I got for my Switch that I just never put in. Splatoon 3, which I got during the height of my like homework. period, and I never really got to play with my friends, so I want to boot that up. Sonic Frontiers and Kirby's Forgotten Land are also on that backlog. And that's not even mentioning like the hundreds and hundreds of like virtual games that I own on my desktop and stuff. So that's going to be just awful to like go through. But we'll see. Going back to like the cruise ship thing. I'm in the middle of sea with no internet, so I mean, you're going to be hearing this in about a week. It's going to be like a gift from me to you to like a, what is it? One of those time capsule thingies, yeah. And it's a week in the future, so that will be my bad. Because the last video I actually uploaded, fun fact, was I did that in one day. So I recorded all of it. I slightly edited it to make it like the pauses less irritating, because I know how I speak in real life. I tend to speak up really fast, and then I have a bunch of pauses in the middle of my stuff, and it's just kind of annoying. And I don't want that, like anybody to have to go through that on my YouTube. Even as I speak now, I see how many pauses I have in Audacity. So it's probably going to be really annoying to like listen over to my voice and stuff. So we'll fix that. So yeah, that's usually something I do in a day when I make these. So we'll figure it out. As for the next topic, I was a 4.0 student, and now I'm not. I never got I never got anything below an A in high school, and my freshman year I didn't have any problems. And this year, I had 6 finals, of course, and me, being the lazy piece of crap I am, did not study. And, that worked out for 5 of 6 of them. It did not work out for the 6th one, which was Diffie Q. I had a 99 in that class. And all I needed was a 60 or a 66 on the test to make an A. And I ended up getting a 60. And I was so mad. I wasn't mad at the teacher. I can't be mad at the teacher. She was a really good teacher. I didn't have any problems with her. It was purely my fault. I was like, man, I know everything in this class. I understood. I got A's on all the assignments. I can do this. But I did not expect that many questions from the first part of the semester to appear. So I kind of forgot how to do the most basic crap from the beginning of class. And that's kind of all on me. I can't really complain about that. But I'm not a 4.0 anymore. I don't know if that's really a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's more of a neutral thing. I was kind of sad with myself at first, but it's whatever. I don't really care that much anymore. But it kind of does worry me, because if I got a B now, what does that mean for my future? Because that was, I guess it wasn't one of my lighter semesters, but those classes aren't the hardest, and my next semester coming up is 7 classes, which I was just taking 6, with like really, really hard subjects. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can make mostly A's in those classes. But other than schooling, because I really don't want to talk about that, it's kind of boring. I also have other plans. Like, I plan to go to an abandoned tuberculosis sanatorium near me. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but I really like urbexing, and I've always wanted to make videos of me like exploring an urbexing thing. Maybe I might take some like recordings of it, and I would really like to do it. I think it would be an interesting like thing to do. The tuberculosis sanatorium that I'm like talking about is used for like Halloween trails, so I don't have to really worry about like something poisonous like asbestos or something. So I feel like that might be fun. I really like urbexing, and none of my friends have really gone, so I'm going to bring them with me. It's about an hour drive, so that's going to be kind of annoying, but I'm not very good at driving. I am horrible at driving. I joke to my friends, but it's not that much of a joke that anytime I drive somewhere and back, there's usually at least two times I almost wreck into somebody. Sometimes it can be 2 on the way and 0 on the way back, 2 on the way there. Or you know what I'm saying. It's on average 2. I've gotten a little bit better. I've narrowed it down to like 1 every 3 trips. So it's not horrible. I'm very, very, very bad at driving. I've already had a wreck once. I don't know if I've said that before, but I've already had a wreck once. I don't think that one was my fault. Somebody in front of me kind of slammed on their brakes, and I was on the interstate, and I was going 5 above the speed limit, and it was absolutely demolished. Thankfully, I was in a really safe car, so I didn't have any like trouble getting out. But I was 2 hours away from home, and I had to call my mom to pick me up. And I was crying because I was afraid that she's going to be mad at me for totaling a car that I got in like 3 months ago. So yeah, but all's well that's in well, right? Let's see. We've also been playing the Quarry. If you don't know, Quarry is kind of like a kind of weird, a spiritual successor to Until Dawn. I really liked Until Dawn. I know a lot of people didn't. It was like a cheesy horror movie, but that's kind of like why I liked it. Not many horror games get me really afraid, and that one, for some reason, does get me a little bit like creeped out and stuff. So we're playing the Quarry. We haven't gotten very far, but we plan to do it like every Friday. It would be nice to just hang out and have the like do something like horror related. I enjoy horror to an extent. I'm not a very big fan of jump scares. Like the problem with jump scares is that it just feels cheap. And instead of like coming out of there feeling like, man, I'm so glad that I got scared. That was so awesome. Instead, I just feel like angry. I'm like, okay, well, that was kind of cheap. I don't think you really deserved that one. Uh, so yeah, and you know, we actually do a lot of events at my house. One of those events was the Secret Santa event that I hosted. I usually host most of the events in my friend group. So we had Secret Santa. I got somebody a dice set. Basically, they're really into D&D. I've never tried D&D. It's kind of on my bucket list to at least try it once. The problem is like I'm not very into, I don't know, following rules. If I do D&D, it'd have to be like some kind of homebrew stuff that I just kind of go in there, goof off. I don't really take anything seriously. I don't know. It's just like the idea of D&D to me is that you're supposed to be using your imagination. And then a lot of people go in there and like, you can't do this. It's against the rule book. It's kind of cheating. And I'm like, well, that's kind of the point. You're supposed to be creative with it. And I know probably there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with me on that. And you can, because I don't play a lot of D&D, so it's not like I'm like a authority on this subject. But I just think that it's kind of like defeating the point of like a creative exercise of stretching your imagination and fantasy. Other stuff. Oh, what did I actually... I kind of got distracted there. I was supposed to be talking about Secret Santa. I got a Chainsaw Man poster because that's what I've been watching recently. And secondly, I got a Funko Pop of Vaporeon. And I'm sure that many of you know why that's funny. And if you don't worry about it. It's not something that you really need to care about. But I got that, and don't worry. It was a joke because I keep complaining about that whole meme. But I got it, and so that was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. I asked for, when we do Secret Santa, we specifically put our likes and dislikes, and I asked for something just funny and goofy. I'm really into like stuff that's kind of like a funny icebreaker. You just have it in your home or you're in your room, and somebody's like what's this, and it starts a conversation. I really like that stuff. So I think that was a good pick for me. I think it's really funny. And then I mentioned earlier in this video, I am 20 now. I feel old. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not old enough to pay taxes because I still haven't. That's insane to me. But I feel old now. So I had my birthday recently in December, and I had gotten a really good gift. My favorite gift that I got was it's gonna take a lot of explanation, but it was this styrofoam mannequin that somebody chopped the top of the head off of and then carved in the inside where a brain would be, and then filled it with gushers to the very top. And this stems back. It was actually a gift from my childhood friend, all the way back from my hometown. He's not dorming with me, but he's right next to my apartments. And a long time ago, I told we were talking about how much we like gushers, and we I don't know why, it was like kind of an ironic bit that we liked gushers. I guess because of how like unnaturally flavored they were. It's just like all artificially like flavored crap, and it's just got like overly sweet high fructose corn syrup or whatever. So there was no way it was good or healthy or natural for you. And we kind of joked that it was like our favorite snack and that they were awesome. And it was kind of like this ironic bit between us. And I told him, this was back in like 6th grade, so I told him that I thought, like, for one day for my birthday, he's just gonna have to like get in the kitchen, try to find like a huge mold of like a giant sized gusher, like a gusher the size of my head, and he's just gonna have to pour a bunch of gushers in there and like melt them down into one giant amalgamated gusher. And it was kind of like an ongoing bit that every time that my birthday came around, I'm like, where's my giant head sized gusher? And, you know, I kind of never expected to have it, and while it wasn't like the exact thing that we joked about, it was like a head sized gusher because like it took part of the head. And so I really like it. I'm gonna get some resin for it and put it in there and probably display it somewhere. I thought it was really funny. And eventually, when Christmas rolled around, I made like little stockings, and I had an extra stocking, and I made one for well, we titled him Gushy, and he became like our fifth roommate. I have three other roommates. I think I mentioned that before, but my fifth roommate. I really enjoy giving on Christmas. Sorry about that. That was like a really bad segue. That was like a sharp right turn. But I really like Christmas. It's I think I really like I don't know, just like playing up the legend. I waited for all of them to go to sleep, and I am pretty sure they saw through me because I was really loud trying to put all the presents in there and stuff, and I didn't try to hide me buying stuff. But when they were mostly all asleep, I went in and stuffed some candy in the stockings, and I got each of them a small little gift and put it under the tree. I left out some cookies, took a bite out of one. You know, playing up Santa Claus. I guess Santa Claus didn't visit us, so I had to do it for him. But so we did all that, and I you know what, I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun, and we had a great laugh right before I left. So that, you know, that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. And the next thing on my list was actually, let me pull it up here. I never really finished, did I? I was talking about my birthday, and we went to a hibachi, which, you know, is like the stuff where they have Japanese food and cook it on the grill in front of you. And they, so we went out there, and, you know, we all had fun. We were just talking around the grill while we watched the tricks and stuff. And I went back home, and it turns out they had all thrown a surprise party for me. And sorry to like interrupt this whole story, because I know I've like interrupted all my stories. I'm not ADHD, but I might as well be. I am so sorry for my stuttering. It's really bad. I probably should have gone to a speech therapist when I was younger, but I never did. And so now I have this really bad stuttering problem when I start talking. Probably could be solved by me slowing down, but, you know, that's something about like just thinking and then having the sentence in my brain before I can even spit it out, and it just kind of gets all jumbled up. So I'm really sorry if you guys have to like. I'm not sure if anybody even watches all these videos through, but if anybody ever does, I am like incredibly sorry for my stuttering. It is really bad. What was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, sorry. Back to the whole thing. So we did the birthday party thing. We went in, and we played Cards Against Humanity and stuff, and that was pretty fun. So I had a lot of fun there. So that was basically my birthday. 20 years old, crazy. So the next thing I was going to talk about is like a concept I had that I was going to try out. It was going to be like a bi-weekly comic. And let me say by bi-weekly, there's an asterisk there, because anything I say, like in terms of schedule, is not going to happen. I could say daily, not going to happen. If I say yearly, it still wouldn't happen. I mean, for example, my casino video, I don't know if you guys remember that, the slot machine video, that was supposed to be out within 2 weeks, and I think that ended up taking me a month and a half. So I have no perception of time or how long things are going to take me. So I really do apologize on that front. But my idea was a bi-weekly comic that kind of went over my life. I'm not sure if many of you, and if you haven't, I do recommend that you look it out, or check it out, is Let's Teach English, I think is what it's called. I can't really confirm the name because, you know, no internet. But Let's Teach English, it was kind of like it was about a teacher who was from America. She went to Japan. She didn't know any Japanese, and she kind of learned it as she went. And she started teaching students how to speak English in Japan. And, you know, she was a big nerd, so that really helped her out. And I think it was just very interesting and wholesome. There was only like 150 comic strips, but they were very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I enjoyed reading over that, and I feel like I have enough stories to tell. One of them being Beer Mentor, which I might as well. I mean, pad out the video's time. I don't have a lot to talk about today, but it was a while back, and I'm gonna read you or I'm just gonna tell you a transcript I had basically of this. And basically, I was sitting at a lunch table, just like minding my business, and I saw these. I think they were underclass freshmen or whatever at the college, and I was just sitting around listening to them. And there's this thing called a peer mentor. So a peer mentor at our college is basically somebody who helps out freshmen, and they help them like get all situated for college life and help them go from high school to college and just like learn the ropes and stuff. And there's these like 4 guys, pretty sure they were part of a frat or something, and one of them's talking about their peer mentor, and he's like, "Man, my peer mentor is so hot, dude. She's just so fine." And one of his friends just says beer mentor. Like he was confused at what a beer mentor was. And he's like, yeah, she's really hot, man. She was smoking. And he started showing a picture to all of his friends, and the guy sitting next to him still is confused. He's like, beer mentor. I don't know what a beer mentor is. He's like, beer mentor, and his friend's like, she has an awful personality though. She was just a huge witch, and he's like, beer mentor, and he's like, yeah, man. I don't know about it, and so I mean, it sounds really lame when I try saying it over like this. I don't know. Uh, Something about like telling a joke face to face is more funny or something. But I felt like it was just a strange interaction of just this guy going back and forth, wondering what a beer mentor was, and all of his friends ignoring him. And so stuff like that I feel like would be funny to make a comic about, and help me remember these stories instead of just like thinking they're funny for a while and then forgetting them completely. Because I feel like there's funny stuff like that I could do. But and that's kind of like why I want to make a web comic. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff there. And speaking of like the other projects that I want to do, one of them that I wanted to do was like actually make comics. I don't know if any of you like followed any of my other social media accounts, but you might see some pictures and drawings and stuff of other things, and like a bunch of characters, and they all have like fleshed out lore. Like I have like 10 different series ideas, and I want to kind of just all develop them. And I really like drawing, but I just don't have the patience to like animate or to make several panels of comics. And so my idea was to create a type of parser, or like a thing that reads in a script where you can type in emotions and the type of like pose they want to do. And using pre-rendered images that I drew, it would turn all that script into like a visual novel of sorts. And I think that would be kind of interesting. I feel like there could be a lot done with that, and that's just something I've been working on. I'm doing it through Unity. Unfortunately, my original plan was to actually create a webcomic parser from scratch, and by scratch I mean using C++ and the SFML library. But I just couldn't get SFML to work on my computer. I mean, I got it to work a couple of times, but it's just, I don't know, something about my computer and SFML is just not mixing well. So I'm gonna just take a while to learn a bit more about like how to like import libraries, because it's not part of the standard Visual Studio Code. That's what I'm using, library. So I'm just gonna like kind of figure that out first before I start screwing around with anything like that. But yeah, so that's something that I want to get completed. I don't know if it will, because I'm really bad at starting to projects and just never finishing them. But that is on my list to do. As for everything else, there's other projects I of course have. I've been actually working on a bucket list of things I want to do. And that goes into my New Year's resolution, which this is made on the 27th, so New Year's is coming up really shortly. This video is probably going to be posted on the 3rd of January, so if that, it might take even longer, which people who are watching this video now, and if they even made it this far, will probably be snickering and laughing if it's not on the 3rd, because I have no concept of time, so we'll see. But my New Year's resolution is to learn some cooking. I'm kind of tired of just getting like fast food. I guess not fast food, but like food from campus every single day. I like to learn how to cook, and I think it's just like a valuable skill, and it's like an art. I really like art. I would like to learn a bunch of different types of it, and cooking is just one of those that I feel like it's very I'm a fat guy, so I really like eating food and stuff. So I feel like it'd be interesting just to learn how to do that and make something that I would enjoy to eat. But there's just several things on my bucket list, and I'll just probably go through some of those things because I have like a huge list of my thing. So like one of the things on my bucket list is keep a comic blog that updates my personal stories of my life. So that was something I already discussed, but other stuff is like learn Spanish, learn German, learn how to code in Swift, learn how to use HTML and CSS and make a website, learn how to cook, learn how to bake. I want to make it my own podcast. There's a couple of like games that I want to play, but I instead of making a podcast, I might just make more YouTube videos. The thing about like a podcast is just like it's so. I don't know about you guys, but for me it's like boring. I can just make YouTube videos. I don't know. It's weird. Other things are like develop my visual novel, as I stated. I developed my card game, which I don't know if I said that in my last life journal, but I am developing a prototype, and it's so far working well. I just created a software that allows me to automate the process, and so that it's going to go by much faster. Learn how to animate, which I'm thinking about using Blender like the 2D Blender software. Develop my YouTube channel, which I have not been doing. It's dead. It has like what 60 subscribers, if that, maybe 50. And I feel like I don't know. I like reaching out to people and I like sharing my content, so I kind of wanted to build it up. I wanted to learn how to make music because I'm complete crap at it, and I feel like it's an important thing in like video games that I want to create and stuff. Work with more circuit boards. I've been looking into how to make like plastic and copper and stuff from scratch, like how to like make copper boards from scratch. So I kind of want to do that, use the chemicals and stuff. I wanted to learn how to hack. Of course, I have to say, what is it? White hat hacking. I would never do black hat hacking unless it was pen testing. That I would never do that ever. I would also try to learn how to lockpick. Going past that last one, I'd also want to learn how to lockpick. I think it's an interesting skill. Very cool. I don't know. I also kind of want to learn magic, but that's more not the gathering, like magic tricks. I think those are kind of funny. Um, I want to get better at drawing and pixel art and stuff. I want to do more urbexing and actually learn how to take photography of it. I need to get better at driving. That's not something I want on my wish list or my bucket list because I don't really like driving. I hate it actually. I just need to get better. I want to work on my people skills. I don't think I'm that bad with people skills personally, but a lot of people say I am. So maybe I need to work on that a little bit. Learn how to like socialize and be more charismatic. But whatever, we'll learn. Um, I want to make my own wiki page and kind of like categorize my thoughts and story ideas. Because as of right now, the 10 series that I previously mentioned, like those are all residing in my head. So if one concussion and half of my story, if not all of them, could just be wiped out. Sorry about that. If you ever notice that I like maybe cut out or something feels different in audio, it's because I had to cut it off and I'm sharing this room with my little brother. So like all my little siblings are actually here on this cruise with me. So I'm sharing it with them. I'm sorry about that. But going back to like my wish list or my bucket list, I should stop saying wish list. I also want to make an NES game from scratch. I'm learning assembly right now and kind of like coding through assembly and learning how like the operating system works with like really low level instructions. I also want to learn how to do like 3D modeling and rigging because I don't know anything about that, and I feel like if I ever want to make a 3D game, which I don't really like 3D games in terms of development, it's just they're very hard to make, and I'm not very good with like imagining and visualizing in 3D. I also want to learn how to like solder. I'm so sorry. I'm bad at pronunciation, but I want to solder. I want to learn how to solder and do like stuff with circuit boards and mess around with my Raspberry Pi a little bit. I have some other stuff on here like make an ARG and learn how to play piano and do chemistry. But I just wanted to. Those are kind of things that I want to do eventually. Um, but my that was basically it on my bucket list, and I'm still thinking of things. I might find some other things like gardening or something to put on there. But as of right now, that's just kind of like tentative stuff. And before I go, because this video is almost done, I don't really have a lot to say. Before I go, I was thinking about changing my channel name to Null Axon, right? Reasons why. Never End. So, a lot of my friends online call me Never, and I feel like having my name as an adjective or an adverb is kind of difficult to like talk to, because then you have like a complication with like it was never supposed to be a noun or an adverb describing the next verb. It's really weird. But not only that, Never End just it's the two words themselves are not very distinctive, and I feel like it doesn't really help my channel branding a lot. The thing is, like, I feel like I've already built up a lot with this, and the fact that all my old videos say Never End, it's going to be weird, but I don't know. Something about Null Axon, I really like Null Axon a lot. So if any of you have watched this far at all, just please leave in the comments just which one you prefer. I'd like honestly like to hear whether you like Never End or Null Axon better. I think it'd be like something cool like that. I don't know. So to end it off, I would also like to ask what you would like to see on my channel. I actually have two videos I am making. I'm making one about analyzing a song, more specifically analyzing Variations on a Cloud, which is a 9/11 music video, and I have a lot of things to say on it, so that one's very long. And the other one was a top 10 obscure Greek gods list, because I used to read a lot of Percy Jackson and think I used to know a lot of Greek mythology, so I really looked into the other more obscure myths and interesting gods and stuff. They're very, very weird. and I have that and a second part to the video up. Like I'm currently developing. So there's all kinds of videos that I'm still developing, and I want to get out, and just haven't done it because there's so many projects I have to work on, and there's so many things for school I have to do. So hopefully all of that can be done soon. And with that, I really don't have anything else to say, and I'll either see you next month, the month after, or the month after if the series continues. I hope the series continues, because I think it's kind of just interesting to not have a script and go off topic and hear me stuttering for like, I don't know, 30 minutes on end. But you know what? I think it would be interesting, and I would like to hear what you guys think about this. And if you have any ideas about the brand name thing or my name, just let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.